This is the Everyday AI Show, the everyday podcast where we simplify AI and bring its power to your fingertips. Listen daily for practical advice to boost your career, business, and everyday life.
Apple has reportedly developed a new internal large language model to rival ChatGPT and also help improve Siri. OpenAI has rattled off multi-billion-dollar partnerships in the past week, and Accenture has laid off more than 11,000 people or exited them because they couldn't upskill with AI. There's been a ton happening in the world of AI, and if you don't want to spend hours every single day trying to keep up and figure out what it means for you, well, you found the right place. This is Everyday AI. And on Mondays, we cover the AI news that matters. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Everyday AI. My name is Jordan Wilson, and this is your daily live stream podcast and free daily newsletter, helping everyday business leaders like you and me not just keep up with what's happening in the world of AI, but how we can use it all to grow our company and our career. So if that's what you're trying to do, on Mondays, we do the AI news that matters. On Tuesday, do a little hot take Tuesday. Wednesday, we put AI to work with practical use cases and examples. And usually on Thursday and Fridays, we have interviews with some of the leading experts in the world. So if you are new here, welcome. If you haven't already, please go to youreverydayai.com. There, each and every day, we put out our free daily newsletter recapping not just the highlights from each day's show, but also all the other AI news that you need to keep up and get ahead. Speaking of that, there's been a lot of AI news this week, so let's get started. First, pretty big news here. Accenture has reportedly, the language here, they've exited more than 11,000 people. So Accenture has reduced its global workforce by nearly 12,000 people over the course of the last 3 months as part of a nearly 1 billion AI-focused overhaul, signaling a faster shift to automation and efficiency. Between 11,000 and 12,000 employees over the past couple of months. So right now, these are known as kind of the job cuts are targeting employees whose skills do not align with the company's AI-driven strategy, according to reports. So Accenture is reportedly reinvesting those savings into AI and training and plans to increase its overall headcount by 2026, focusing on AI and data specialists. However, there are more layoffs expected at Accenture, likely due to AI as part of this ongoing restructuring. So the company's strategy involves replacing roles that cannot be retrained with new AI-focused talent. So Accenture CEO Julie Sweet said the plan is moving on a compressed timeline, warning that further layoffs may follow if staff cannot adapt to an AI-first environment. So the company has already spent $615 million on severance packages and restructuring, with an additional $250 million expected this quarter, highlighting the immediate cost of the pivot. Accenture says retraining programs in cloud computing, data analytics, and AI are in place to redeploy talent, aiming to transition employees into new technology roles rather than exit the workforce entirely. So analysts note that this move aligns with a broader pattern across consulting and tech firms such as IBM, Microsoft, and Google, as those companies streamline teams and adopt to AI-assisted workflows to boost productivity. Y'all, I've been saying this for years. Quite literally. Go back to some of the first episodes of Everyday AI. What year was that? Back in early 2023. I said first, the big tech companies are going to lay off tens of thousands. Then you're going to see the management consulting companies lay off tens of thousands. And then the rest of the enterprise, kind of Fortune 1000 here in the US, is going to follow suit. So this is not a surprise. Right? Accenture laying off more than 11,000 people. I was a little thrown off by the language that was used and whether this was actually internal language or if it was just how it was reported that the employees were going to be exited. All right. I think what companies need to do, call a spade a spade. if you're laying people off because of AI or because you think that these people or departments aren't able to upskill themselves with AI, just say that, right? You know, I think in general, there's a lack of trust out there, and probably largely because of AI, right? So many employees all over the world, but I think especially here in the U.S. that I talk to, are just have a certain level of uncertainty when it comes to the future of employment in their workplace, and some of that is because of AI. And they say, well, hey, if my company adapts this new AI pilot, and if it works, what happens to my job? So I do think companies need to be a little more transparent. Don't say we're going to exit these people. Be, you know, be straightforward. Be, if you're going to fire people because you think their jobs are not, AI future proof, I think companies need to be a little more direct and actually just say that. All right. Our next piece of AI news, a new feature, pretty big one, I think, that OpenAI just rolled out late last week. So OpenAI has introduced its new Pulse feature, which right now is only available for pro subscribers. So those people on the $200 a month plan. All right, I'm going to tell you what it is and why I think you still need to pay attention to it, because eventually it's going to roll out to other plans. So OpenAI has introduced Pulse that works, they say, while you sleep, to surface tailored daily updates based on your past chats and connected apps. So Pulse generates card-based summaries each morning with actionable items like your upcoming meetings, trip schedules, and research. And it kind of also looks at your prior conversation and user feedback. So the system uses information from your ChatGPT history, explicit feedback that you share with it, and optional connected apps such as calendars to curate suggestions relevant to your day. So updates are temporary and disappear after a day unless you choose to save them, with OpenAI emphasizing that Pulse is designed to reduce mindless scrolling rather than keep users glued to the app. Users can also kind of leave feedback, and there's both a kind of a plus, a plus side, a minus side, or thumbs up, thumbs down. And you can also curate or talk to ChatGPT and leave its feedback on Pulse and what it's recommending to you. So OpenAI frames Pulse as a step toward assistance that can research, plan, and take helpful actions on your behalf, moving ChatGPT from reactive Q&A to proactive workflow tool. So the feature is currently limited to, like I said, paid ChatGPT Pro subscribers, but OpenAI has hinted that this will be rolling out to all paid subscribers in the future. So whether that's in a couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of quarters, not sure, because OpenAI CEO Sam Altman did hint a couple of weeks ago that OpenAI is going to be rolling out some more compute intensive offerings. So this could be one of them. So this could be something that in theory is maybe only very limited to paid subscribers in the future, or it could just stick pro. They might change course here. So I've been using this since it came out, and podcast audience, just say Pulse. Live stream audience, say Pulse if you, want this to be covered in the future, because I don't know if this is something that we should be covering, mainly because a lot of people might not get access to it. Let me say this. The overall sentiment of this feature so far has been overwhelming. I don't remember a recent ChatGPT feature, maybe aside from deep research in the original ChatGPT, that has been this widely well received. Right. I think people really enjoy having that, in the morning is kind of when it lands, having a hyper personalized kind of layout for your day. I'll say this. Are you still running in circles trying to figure out how to actually grow your business with AI? Maybe your company has been tinkering with large language models for a year or more, but can't really get traction to find ROI on Gen AI. Hey, this is Jordan Wilson, host of this very podcast. Companies like Adobe, Microsoft, and NVIDIA have partnered with us because they trust our expertise in educating the masses around generative AI to get ahead. And some of the most innovative companies in the country hire us to help with their AI strategy and to train hundreds of their employees on how to use Gen AI. So, whether you're looking for ChatGPT training for thousands or just need help building your front-end AI strategy, you can partner with us too, just like some of the biggest companies in the world do. Go to youreverydayai.com/partner to get in contact with our team, or you can just click on the partner section of our website. We'll help you stop running in those AI circles and help get your team ahead and build a straight path to ROI on Gen AI. I'm not buying it. Normally I'm very like, oh, this is great from ChatGPT. And maybe one of the reasons why is because I already am obviously very well versed in using ChatGPT. And what I was already doing with ChatGPT in terms of having it deliver me hyper personalized scheduled research every single day and scheduling those things, I was getting better results doing that, and I'll probably continue to rely on that. However, this is a great user experience. And I think for the 99.9% of users who weren't doing that, right, who weren't using hyper tailored daily research getting delivered to them via actions, which most people I don't think are, I think this is going to be great. But I think the real play here, which maybe I'll save for a hot take Tuesday tomorrow if you all want to hear it, this is for advertising. I think people are going to love this. I think this is going to be one of the most used AI features out there because of, it works really well. For me, some of it was repetitive. As an example, I have a lot of repeating meetings on my calendar, and I was trying to have ChatGPT avoid certain meetings because it's like, I don't need you to go research this meeting. That's a daily meeting, or it happens, every single week, right? So hopefully it gets a little bit better with some fine tuning. I know a lot of people are loving it. Me, it's okay. All right. Our next piece of AI news. This is real. So U.S. President Donald Trump has posted and then deleted an AI-generated video styled as a Fox News broadcast that claimed Americans would receive what's called a MedBed card, granting access to hospitals with technology that, quote unquote, restore every citizen to full health, making it timely due to the online spread and quick removal Saturday night. So, U.S. President Donald Trump posted this on Saturday night on his Truth Social platform and then deleted it on Sunday. And obviously, a Fox News spokesperson confirmed that this was AI generated and it did not actually air on the Fox News media platforms. So the video's central claimed promise users or, people who subscribe to MedBed would get a top doctor and the most advanced technology, suggesting cures for any disease or ailment. A hallmark of the MedBed conspiracy narrative circulating in fringe far-right circles. All right. And let me just be very bold and very clear here. I know a lot of people are going to flood the YouTube and Spotify and email comments and say, Jordan, stick to AI. Stop talking about politics. I'm not talking about politics here. This is an AI news story. FYI, when the president of the United States puts out a very clear AI generated conspiracy theory and disinformation. So this story has not caught a lot of legs just yet. So I've worked in the media in the past. It might get a ton of traction today. It might not. It just depends on kind of how the news cycle is and what's going on. But we have to draw attention to this, regardless of your political leanings. This is not good when the president of a leading country in the world puts out a clearly AI generated video that it looks like was just meant to deceive people. right? You can go, even though the post has been taken down, obviously, just about everyone saved the video. And we'll see if any more details come out surrounding this, if Trump releases a statement, if the White House addresses it today in their normal press briefing. But this is really bad, regardless of your political leanings. It is not good for any leader of any country or anyone to put out a video like this. And just FYI, if a U.S. senator would have done this, whether they were a Democrat or Republican, I would be talking about it today, because it is that big of a deal. Because as the quality of AI video gets better and better, a lot of people are going to be fooled, especially since this is something that would probably be geared toward seniors or older Americans, that they're looking at this and they see a Fox News clip and they're like, okay, well, this is real. It came from the US president. It looks like it was on Fox News. I need to get one of these MedBeds. And then, on Truth Social, obviously, people are selling these MedBed cards that are not real. So again, go ahead, flood in your hate comments, everyone. This is an AI news story, and this is important to talk about, because I do think as the quality of AI video gets bigger and better, this is going to become commonplace. So we have to talk about it, regardless of if it's a politician, a business leader, whoever it is. All right, our next piece of AI news, a lot of billions in today's AI news recap. So NVIDIA will invest $100 billion. Let me say that again. NVIDIA will invest $100 billion in a new OpenAI pact, agreeing to build at least 10 gigawatts of AI data centers for OpenAI, significantly expanding compute capacity for the company behind ChatGPT, according to the company's joint announcement. So the letter, and that's all it is right now, it is a letter of intent, right? NVIDIA didn't hand over a $10 billion check. Imagine how big that check would be, right? When someone wins like a local lottery, they get the jumbo check, $150,000. How big would a $100 billion fake check? But the letter of intent says the first 1 gigawatt of NVIDIA systems will be deployed in the second half of next year, with full details to be finalized in the coming weeks. So the effort complements earlier commitments from Microsoft, Oracle, SoftBank, and Stargate partners, more on that here in a minute, who pledged at least $100 billion in January collectively to build OpenAI-focused data centers. So this partnership does follow OpenAI's tentative agreement, giving Microsoft a $100 billion equity stake in its for-profit arm that was recently just approved, while OpenAI remains controlled by its nonprofit board. Yeah, it's a little confusing, OpenAI's new structure, but there's some huge financial incentives to be gained here. So OpenAI CEO Sam Altman told CNBC that the NVIDIA-built centers are in addition to previously announced projects, and said the infrastructure is essential to delivering services and improving models. So we talked about this last week in the newsletter. Sam Altman actually had a short kind of blog post on his personal blog talking about how much he wants to expand compute. All right. So, if you see something and you're like, all right, what is 1 gigawatt of compute? We explained that in our newsletter last week, but essentially Sam Altman wants to, within a year or two, wants to be creating the amount of compute in a week that's like 10 times what is being produced right now in an entire year. So obviously OpenAI and others are going all out in terms of capital expenditures here in the US, to create more data centers to feed the AI models. All right. Speaking of an AI model that might need a lot of compute, but a lot of people aren't feeling that great about, well, Meta has announced a new AI app called Vibes. It is a continuous stream of short AI-generated video clips. So yes, they've launched a full social media feed that is AI videos only, and you can create them in the platform. So some of you might be hearing that and being like, wow, that's amazing. I don't know. I know this is the news segment, but just about Every news organization, every individual I've seen online has said this is absolutely terrible. And I would have to agree, right? People are rebranding this as trough instead of vibes, right? It's just constant churning out of AI slop. Anyways, so the current Vibes feed is not yet personalized and largely just shows an eclectic mix of surreal looking AI clips, such as an elephant driving a convertible to Dr. Dre and a Viking doing a selfie with Bon Jovi. So Meta appears to be seeding a notable portion of the content with company created AI accounts right now, while theoretically anyone can join Vibes and start creating videos. And this is in part with their partnership, their new partnership with Midjourney and some other AI media partnerships that Meta has launched in the last couple of weeks. So it's not just using their own technology, rather piggybacking on some other companies that they've gone into partnership with and just really putting them out on the new Meta AI app. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this one? I want to hear something from the live stream audience, not just, old man Jordan belly aching, on his front porch. But like I said, early public reaction has been largely negative, with many users calling the feed unnecessary and lacking purpose beyond showcasing AI's ability to generate random visuals. So, I mean, I think part of this is a byproduct of the technology, right? To create AI videos, maybe 6 months ago, there had to be a little bit of human effort that went into it. So maybe there's a trade-off, or there was an initial trade-off on, how much human effort would have to go into an AI video before, and then you could appreciate it because it's like, okay, there's a certain level of creativity. Now, anyone, right? Quite literally anyone with one prompt can create an AI video that at least looks okay, right? But at what cost? That's kind of what I'm thinking about, right? Obviously, I enjoy using AI technology, but a lot of people think, oh, well, if you're talking about AI every day, you just want AI to replace everything and everyone to be using AI in all instances. Absolutely not. I think AI video, AI images can be appreciated, and they can add value when used in moderation, when used with very talented AI individuals. I do think the future, it's just literally going to be all AI videos. I don't know if that's going to be 2, 5, 10 years down the line. So I'm sure my tune will change a little bit, but I do think that there still needs to be a certain level of human input and human creativity. And I don't think this Meta Vibes is a step in the right direction. I think if anything, it just kind of devalues creativity as a whole. So Dino here from YouTube says, heads up, weird things are going on in the AI world. Yeah, I agree. Angie said it feels wasteful and environmentally irresponsible as well. Yeah, I just don't know how much value there is for someone sitting there. And I'm guessing a lot of this is try to get in a younger generation of teens to just doom scroll more. I think there's already enough doom scrolling content on Meta's platforms and on TikTok with just kind of brain rotten videos, but brain rotten videos created by humans. So now I guess this is just a weird dystopian step in a new direction of doom scrolling, but just all AI content, right? I think more than anything, I'm worried about people's attention spans. I think it is this social media push that's, taking everyone's attention spans down to like 15 seconds. And I don't know, now it's going to get down to a couple of seconds. So I don't know, not a fan. We'll see if this is a project that sticks around, because like I said, there was such a polarization this week in AI between such an overwhelming response to ChatGPT's Pulse and people saying, hey, this is a great example on how AI can be useful and improve your life, help people be more organized, be more prepared, be better researched, right? And consume more information that's helpful to your career, to your company, to what you're trying to accomplish in your life, versus something like this that's just a little more just an onslaught of slop. So I don't know. I told y'all how I feel about it. Yeah, leave a comment. Maybe we'll feature one or two in the AI newsletter. All right. Our next piece of AI news. Yes, more huge partnerships for OpenAI. Referenced this earlier, but OpenAI has expanded their Stargate project with the announcement of 5 new U.S. data centers. So OpenAI announced plans to build 5 new U.S. data centers that were not previously announced under its Stargate initiative, a major scale up that will push total planned capacity to nearly 7 gigawatts. There you go. Now you know gigawatts, 17. All right. Between the 10 planned gigawatts with the other one was 1 gigawatt. And then we have 7 here with the new Stargate expansion. And that's roughly the output of 7 large nuclear reactors. So the expansion is being developed in partnership with Oracle and SoftBank, signaling a deep alignment between leading cloud infrastructure and capital to meet surging AI compute demands. Construction is already underway at least one of the new sites in Texas, with a photograph dated from April showing active development. So Oracle's involvement points to a deeper integration with its cloud services, while SoftBank's participation suggests ongoing investment in AI infrastructure and ecosystems beyond just chips. Pretty big news. Oh, I mean, there's more OpenAI announcements that didn't even make our literally billion-dollar announcements. OpenAI had one of the craziest weeks of large-scale partnerships. They had 3 different partnerships that were announced or unveiled that represented multiple billion-dollar commitments with 3 different parties. So pretty crazy week of partnership announcements for OpenAI. All right. And our last major AI news story before we get into the what's new and what's next quick fire roundup. Apple. So according to reports, Apple has built a new internal large language model that will reportedly rival ChatGPT, but the end goal is just to improve Siri. Yeah, we've been hearing this a lot over the past 3 years. And, Apple has developed a new internal large language model or a new prompting structure or a new multimodal, right, to improve Siri. Yet here we are with a Siri that still can't tell us the time. And Apple hasn't really shown us anything except that they need to partner with other companies. Anyways, Apple is internally testing a ChatGPT style app called Veritas to prepare a major Siri overhaul, with the revamped assistant currently slated for a March 2026 debut, according to Bloomberg. So, according to Bloomberg, Veritas is used to trial a new system named Linwood at Apple, which powers the upgraded Siri by combining Apple's own large language models with at least one third-party model. So kind of a mixture of models here. All that it's trying to do is improve Siri ultimately. So, for the sake of billions of devices across the globe, let's hope this actually works. So the features under testing include AI search across personal data, such as your music library, emails, messages, and more, plus in-app tools like AI-driven photo editing. So Apple is reportedly evaluating whether certain capabilities should live inside of Siri or also have a actually dedicated third-party chatbot, indicating a dual strategy for voice and text-based experiences. So according to this report, Apple is trying to figure out if this new Veritas offering should ultimately be a product that consumers use, or if it's just going to remain an internal tool to improve Apple's own models and Siri. So Apple Intelligence was launched last year, and it uses a hybrid approach of Apple's own internal large language models and partner models, mainly ChatGPT. So for anything complex at all, essentially Apple Intelligence gives you a little notification and is like, hey, do you just want to send this to ChatGPT because we can't do it? So Apple will reportedly Also, we covered this a couple of weeks ago, will reportedly launch an AI-powered search engine called World Knowledge Answers. That's also intended to be integrated in first Siri and then later in their Safari browser in the spring of 2026. And Apple has reportedly entered into an agreement with Google to use its Gemini AI models as a key part of that new answers system. So, interesting developments here from Apple. I don't know. It's almost like with everything with Apple and large language models, it's turned into the boy that cried wolf, right? I literally remember sharing stories in our newsletter back in early 2023, like 2.5 years ago, right? That Apple, was spending millions of dollars a day on large language model training, and they had they had a model that rivaled, ChatGPT at the time, like GPT-4, right? And yet nothing happened, nothing materialized. So we'll see if this actually means anything or if it's just the weekly installment of Apple can't keep up and they're going to continue to get crushed. All right. There's a lot of things that happen in the AI news world. They weren't all big enough to spend a lot of time on, but we're going to deliver you some quick bullet points here. This is what's new and what's next, some recent releases, recent partnerships, and some rumors that haven't yet been confirmed. So let's go super quick, sipping the coffee. Here we go. Perplexity has released an AI-powered email assistant, but right now it is only for users on their $200 max plan. Meta rolled out an AI-powered dating assistant. Talk about Meta making some crazy swings this week. We'll see if any of them stick. Claude has landed in Microsoft 365 Copilot, which we talked about multiple times last week. Distal AI has raised $175 million at a $1.8 billion valuation. Suno launched V5 of their AI music maker. Sounds really good. Meta is in talks with Google to use Gemini for Facebook ads instead of their own Llama products. OpenAI has released GDP Val, a new benchmark on AI models that compares how different models do for real economically valuable tasks. Spotify cracked down on AI songs and cut 75 million AI tracks from the platform. Google has released Gemini Robotics 1.5. Moonshot released OK Computer in agent mode for their popular Kimi model. Microsoft unveiled a new marketplace with 3,000 AI apps and agents. OpenAI tapped CoreWeave for a $6.5 billion compute partnership. Yeah, that is the third big OpenAI partnership. ChatGPT rolled out the ability to share projects for teams. That's a little update that's going to have big gains, I think, for teams. Perplexity released its search API to try to compete with Google. Speaking of Google, they released an updated version of Gemini 2.5 Flash and Gemini 2.5 Flashlight. Extremely impressive. And actually, if you missed our show, I do got to shout this show out because it was really good. Normally, I don't talk about interviews after the fact, but if you didn't tune in Friday, go listen to episode 619 with Google's Paige Bailey. She had some mind-blowing. We weren't technically going over the new Gemini 2.5 Flash, but we did technically use it for a couple of iterations there. But make sure you go listen to that and watch that episode. Microsoft is testing a marketplace paying publishers royalties for AI content use. That one's interesting. ChatGPT confirmed they were routing some GPT-4o queries to a GPT-5 model tuned for safety. So all those people that are like, hey, keep GPT-4o around forever, we're very upset over the weekend, seeing that some of their queries were being routed to a fine-tuned version of GPT-5 that was fine-tuned for safety. Notebook LM may start saving chat history without having to save them as notes. I think that'll be great. And then last but not least, OpenAI rolled out parental controls for ChatGPT. All right, that was a lot. Let's quickly recap the main stories for this week's AI news that matters. So Accenture cut more than 11,000 jobs due to AI and said that probably a lot more are going to get cut. OpenAI has rolled out their Pulse feature that makes ChatGPT actually really useful, but right now it's only for users on that $200 a month pro plan. US President Trump posted and then deleted an AI video promoting something called MedBeds that magically cured diseases. NVIDIA is investing has entered into a pact with OpenAI for $100 billion in data center investments. Meta has released a new Vibes feed in its Meta AI app. That is just AI videos only. OpenAI has expanded their previous Stargate partnership with 5 new US data centers announced, and Apple is reportedly testing a new Veritas, codename Veritas, that could power their next generation of Siri. It is said to rival ChatGPT. All right, that was a lot. I hope this was helpful. If so, please repost this to your network. Keep everyone else up to date. I try to bring you just the straight AI news, what matters, what you need to know, and cut through the rest of the fluff. So, like I said, if you're listening on the live stream, if you could repost this to your network, I'd really appreciate that. If you're listening on the podcast, as always, please follow, subscribe to the show, and also leave us a rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'd really appreciate that. Also, make sure to check out the newsletter today so you can tell me what I'm doing tomorrow. What is our Hot Take Tuesday going to be? It is up to you to decide. So make sure you go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for that free daily newsletter. Thank you for tuning in today. Hope to see you back tomorrow and every day for more Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.
And that's a wrap for today's edition of Everyday AI. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps keep us going. For a little more AI magic, visit youreverydayai.com and sign up to our daily newsletter so you don't get left behind. Go break some barriers, and we'll see you next time.